Hello folks, good evening. Yeah, I got Asia and Rashid, Shuffle, uh, Davidas, Suvit, Najad, Rahul, Fahad, and the others are gonna jump in any moment from now. Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Oh, that's good. Okay, so we're going to. Wow, that's good. I'm happy everyone is doing good, and we're going to look at the end of complete the lesson we had yesterday, and then we're going to start a very important part of the lesson. We've been talking about strategic decision making, and we've looked at a couple of things and guiding principles and that can help us to make such decisions. But again, there is a trap, and for us to be able to get through that, to get past the trap, there are a couple of things we need to try to understand. And I thought it's wiser for us to take a look at what a strategy really is and the different components of a strategy and how we can write one. Because when we're talking about strategic decisions, which we talked about yesterday, it's always very, very imperative, I should say, that we have a good knowledge on what strategy is all about, and we can develop a strategy for a business or for an organization. So, I hope this is going to be a very, very great session, because this is the heart of every organization. Without what we're going to look at today, it's going to be very, very difficult to be able to either work for an organization or to be able to, take an organization to a different level. Well, without much ado, let's conclude what we did yesterday. So this is some kind of a conclusion. And we're going to look at the influence on corporate decision making and the impact on decision. We looked at two types of strategic decision. Can someone remind us of those two? We looked at two types of decisions yesterday. Yeah, Elaine, good evening. We looked at strategic and tactical. That's very good. And what did we say strategic decisions all about? Yeah, Najat says long term. And tactical is okay. And strategic decisions taken by senior management. That's very, very good, Ellen. And tactical decision? Yeah, tactical decision is short term and is taken by middle managers. Okay, that's very, very good. At least we can remember it. So let me take my video away so I'm not a distraction to anyone. And to myself anyway. There you go. Okay, that's good, Prabha and Suvit, and for everyone's contribution. Now, if you look at the screen, we have corporate objective. Now, what is the impact of corporate objective on decision? First of all, it should be clear to you by now. It should be, the corporate objectives should be very clear. If you're working for an organization or for a company, the corporate objectives should be very clear. The objectives are the key determining factor in business strategy. We're going to look at this in particular today. Now, ethical position. Again, there are lots of decisions that has ethical implication. And some may carry a more ethical risk than others. And there are lots of different situations that has to do with ethics. And we've looked at ethics, right? I think you did with another person. I don't know, but I looked at, I think I looked at ethics with you as well. I looked at the different ways in which organizations or people carry out unethical behavior. And we looked at different types of ways we can be unethical. Can you remind us? Can anybody remind us what are the different ways in which organizations become unethical? Yeah, Shanta. Good evening. Can we remind ourselves? Let me see if we can remember what we did last, I think a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, when we looked at business ethics. We looked at different ways in which organizations practice unethical, or the different things, barriers to ethical practices in organization. Yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah, we looked at the Sitara case study, but later on, I think I made a whole presentation on ethics, business ethics, and we looked at different ways, like barriers. What are the things that act as barriers, the things that prevent organizations from being ethical? In other words, we can say, how do organizations become unethical? What are the different ways? We looked at these things very well. I can remember very clearly. So can somebody tell us? Oh my God, guys, you know, this is supposed to be a motivation for me. I mean, it's going to make me feel like I'm giving you these things, you know, I'm just giving all this information, and then you can retain the information, you can use it. But how do you use it if you cannot remember it? So at least it's going to be a good motivation for me this evening. Hey, come on, guys. No, we studied Ford, psychological traps. No, not really. Hey, my baby is going to cry this evening, you know, because when I go home, I'm not going to be smiling, and he's going to feel like something's wrong. And maybe because I left the class, you know, not very happy that I taught something and then everyone forgot everything. Yeah, Prabha, it doesn't feel good, you know. Especially from the teacher's side, it feels, yeah, Fahad, that's okay, you're new. But the others were there, and I taught it very well. We used it in different situations. Yeah, thank you, Fahad. But as much as I give, I want you to also give me back. So I feel like, well, this kind of exchange of information. Okay, do you want me to give you one of the methods, and then you can give the rest? Yeah, that was same invoice received twice, and but again, we saw these different things. I gave it to you. I'm very sure that I did. I know everything I've given you. I can tell you all of them. But I can't tell exactly the date and the time, but I know what I've given you because I have a kind of a list of the things I go through. So I check them out. I've already prepared a whole litany of lessons that I have to give you for a good slippery slope. That is one proverb. Congratulations. That is one slippery slope. Good. What is the next? Yeah, we looked at different you're happy? Okay, you're happy for Prabha. That's good. Indirect blindness, that's good, Elaine. I'm happy to see it. Wow, you see now my voice is changing. I'm happy. So we've seen slippery slope, we've seen indirect blindness. What's the next? Wrongly conceived, ill-conceived goals. That's good. Ill-conceived goals. Okay? What again? Well, at least I'm good. It's coming. Yeah, we've looked at motivated blindness. Overvaluing outcomes. Okay. Yeah, Suvit is asking if we can explain these terms because they were not there when we started it. Anyway, I'm going to take a day for us to review the things we've done. It's important for us to be able to, use the things we've done. It's not necessary to cover so many things and then forget them immediately. It's important that we do little and then use it. It becomes very important. We learn few things and then we put it in practice. We look at it in different cases and then we try to, make sure that we don't forget. Okay, you can continue the rest. At least I'm happy that I got some of them from you. That's pretty nice. It's kind of encouraging. Okay, so today I wanted us to look at, for example, we have resource availability. These are all the things that influence corporate decision making. You have the objective of the company, you have the ethical position, you have resource availability, and then you have relative power of stakeholder groups. If the stakeholders, they have a lot of power, they can influence a lot of things in the company or in the business, then it also affects the way corporate decisions are made. So that is just to end what we did yesterday. Today we're going to look at a very, very important aspect. We're talking about strategic decision making. But again, what is strategy? That's the big question. If I ask it again, what is strategy? What is strategic statement? What do you understand by strategy? That's a big question I wanted us to address today. Because the more you understand what a strategy is, then strategic, good, long-term planning. But again, what are the different constitution of this word, strategy, business strategy, and things that are associated with it? So that is what I wanted us to look at today. And so the thank you is not for the class today, it's for the class of yesterday. So plan to reach goal, long-term planning, that's all correct. Very, very correct. So let's go to, so it says strategy statement, and this lecture is going to help us look at the relationship between strategy statement and strategic decision. We cannot make strategic decision if we don't understand the strategy statement of the business or the organization. So that is what we're going to look at today. So are we ready? Okay, let's start rolling. And it's important that you have a pen handy, a piece of paper and a pen handy. You can even have a notebook. Of course, I can share the material with you at the end of the day, but what you take down on your own, it's always very important. You remember it very easily. Okay, let's move on. And I hope we're not going to forget again and then make me to feel a little bit bad before we give it back to me later on when I'm going to ask it. Okay, so 4 strategy development steps. When we talk about strategy, we're going to look at how to develop strategy. What are the steps involved in the development of strategy? There are 4 steps, and I'm going to address all 4 steps. The first one is you ask yourself, what business are we in and why? Now, this question is going to make you know the mission, the vision, and the values of the business or the organization. This is a very powerful question which everyone must ask. And if you can answer this question, or the answer of this question is found in the mission of the organization or the business, the vision, and the values. And don't worry about it. I'm going to explain everything. That is why I'm here. The next question is, where are we going? That is the strategic goals. That is the strategic goals. The next question is, what are the key issues that our strategy must address? Again, that is strategic analysis. And the last important question is, how can we best compete? We live in a very competitive environment, in a competitive world. There are lots of businesses, there are lots of rivals around, and we have to compete. But how can we compete? For us to be able to answer this question, we have to do some strategy formulation. So I'm going to answer all these questions one after the other. I hope it's going to be a wonderful session for us. Well, not today. We cannot complete all of it today, but we're going to answer it in the different classes. So, but today I'm trying to answer the first question. And if you can understand the first question, then it's very, very important. Okay, let's move on. So, well, it's just some little style. I just wanted to emphasize, just some emphasis. That's it. Okay, good. Now, the next thing is step 1. Step 1, we say we're going to address the mission, vision, and value statement. Now, crafting, that is, how can we design, how can we write up the mission, vision, and value statement of the organization. Has anyone here been involved in writing or crafting the mission, vision, and value statement for a company? Yeah, we're going to do some practice. We're going to look at example of good mission, vision, and value statements, and then we're going to practice it so we can get it. Even if it's your own personal business, it's always good to have a mission. It's good to have a vision. It's good to have values for your business or your organization. So we're going to look at all of that. And I hope that you're going to take down lots of points. And those who are fast, well, even taking a snapshot of the screen, I don't really think it's very good. Because it's good you write it down. Because as you're writing it down, you're remembering it better. Okay. Now, the mission is a brief, typically one sentence. Well, it can be more, but typically it's one sentence statement that defines the fundamental purpose of the organization. That is the mission statement. It tells us the fundamental purpose of the organization. One statement. We're going to look at examples. Don't worry about it. Okay. It should include what the organization provides to its clients and inform executives and employees about the overall goal they have come together to pursue. Motto, again, well, I wouldn't say motto, can be kind of values. Motto, I can look at it as value. And we're going to look at that, and then we can see where motto fits in. Okay. Now, let's look at an example of a mission statement. Now, before I give you an example, I want to ask a very salient question. Yeah, that's correct. Like the purpose of the business, that is the mission. Is it on education? Is it transportation? Is it, do you understand what I mean? That is the purpose of the business. What kind of service do you provide? Do you provide education service? For example, the mission of IMTS is education, to deliver quality education to the people. There are lots of different, I don't want to go into some details, but we should be able to have a clear picture, understanding of what you're providing to the people. Now, can anybody give me an example of a mission statement? Or maybe where you work? What is the mission of your organization where you work? I hope you're not studying with your boss, because maybe if your boss is here and then you cannot give the mission statement, maybe the next morning, tomorrow morning, you might be fired. Okay, so it says to maintain highest standards in all our service and to outclass competition through personalized and value-added services. So this is a mission. Is it your company, Civic, or where you work, your organization? Okay, Nokia. Oh, is it Nokia? No, someone said Nokia. Okay. Is it your company where you work? Is it your organization where you work? Is that the mission of it? Okay. Okay. Now we're going to look at examples of good mission, and then you're going to be able to tell whether which missions are not very good. Okay. Let's see. This is a mission of Merck. We all know Merck, right? Okay. Merck's mission is to provide society with superior products and services by developing innovations and solutions that improve the quality of life and satisfy customer needs, and to provide employees with meaningful work and advancement opportunities, and investors with a superior rate of return. Now, I'm going to tell you why this is a very great mission statement, because it addresses all key issues. We're going to look at it again in detail. The next example, a shorter one for Google. Google's mission, to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. This is Google's mission. Very simple. Now, let's go into a little bit more detail. What is value? We've looked at mission, we're going to look at value, and then we're going to look at vision. So is mission okay? Is there a problem with my voice? Is it okay now? Do you want me to take this last slide again? Okay, that's fine. So we've looked at mission, what you provide to your clients, and maybe what you say about what you have for your employees and for your stakeholders can also be part of it. So we're going to look at that. So let's look at value. Some companies, some organizations, or some books, they call it core values. So I decided to use both so that we know if you see value or you see core values, they're all the same. You're talking about the same thing. Now, what are values? Can somebody tell us what values are? Yeah, Rajiv says values are beliefs. Okay, belief. What again? Principles. Okay. Quality. Okay. Standards. That's a question? I'll answer it when I start looking at the slides. Yeah, we can look at it as standards. That's okay. This is a standard in which things work. A combination of all. Okay, now let's look at it. Priorities of the company and their goals. Again, goals are different from values. Now let's look at that so we don't get confused. Value describe the desired behavior, character, and culture of a company. Now, the value of a company is the way people in the company should behave, the kind of character that is acceptable, and the culture of the company, how the environment, how things work in that company. That this constitutes the value of the company. You can call it the core value as well. Now let's look at an example. This is Whole Foods. I hope you know of this company, Whole Foods. You can check it on Google. Now their value is selling the highest quality natural and organic products available, supporting team member excellence and happiness, and caring about our communities and their environment. So to them, high quality natural and organic product is a value to them. So they are going to put a lot of effort, a lot of resources to make sure that they have good quality product, because the good quality is a value to them. So good quality is important to them. The next is supporting team member excellence and happiness. So they have, when the members of the team, employees are happy, then it's important to them. So that's a value. If employees are not happy, then something is wrong. They are not comfortable, because one of their values is to make sure that every member of the team is happy and is performing excellence and caring about the communities and the environment. So the community is important to them, and the environment is also important to them. So they are not going to pollute the environment. So these are their values. So this is Whole Foods. Let's look at another example. No, I think I already got one example. Now the next is vision. Yeah, like family environment, like Rahul said. Yeah, you want to make sure that the environment is conducive. You feel like you're at home, you're in a family. It's important to them. Now the third is vision. Now let's look at vision. What do you understand by vision before we go on? Long-term goal, okay. Setting a goal, okay. Goals. Well, description of achieving goals, what we want to be ultimately, where we will be in the future, okay. Okay, so there are lots of different responses that are coming. I really appreciate them, because all of them, they're part of what the vision is. That is actually the vision, the long term, where you want to be, what you want to do in the future. That's very important. That's the vision. Vision is looking at the future. That's important. So let's look at what I have. The vision is a concise statement that defines the mid to long term, and it's usually between 3 to 10 years goal of an organization. So the vision, you look at the organization in 3 years. What is the organization going to look like in 3 years? Or what's it going to look like in 10 years? So it can be between. It can be 3, 4, 5, but it's always, most of the time, I'm not saying 3 is the minimum. You can still have a vision for 2 years. But again, it's always long term. It could be 4, it could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 7, but it's always good to keep it, between 3 and 10. But whatever, this is not kind of a dogma. You can change it, but it's advisable. Most visions are for 3 to 10 years. Okay. The vision should be external and market oriented, and should express preferably in aspirational terms. When I say aspirational term, you aspire. That's what you aspire to be. That's what you aspire to. That's where you aspire to go. How the organization wants to be perceived by the world. This is when somebody looks at the vision of your organization and say, wow, this organization wants to be the best, it wants to be this, they want to go this place. And that is how people look at your organization. You have kind of what kind of aspiration the organization has. And that's important. It talks about, it gives an idea how you plan, how the organization sees itself and where you want to be. Okay, for example, let's look at an example of a vision. We will be among the top 3 transporters of goods and services, goods and people in India by 2018. I just wrote this one. Maybe a transport company, a transport firm, this can be a very clear vision for them, beg your pardon. We will be among the top 3 transporters of goods and people in India by 2018. Again, it is very, very specific. I'm going to break it into different pieces. So with those pieces, you can be able to come up with your own vision for your own life, for your organization, for your company. Let's look at another example. We will become the respected leader in financial services with a focus on seamless customer relationship and satisfaction, producing financial returns in the top quartile of the industry. Again, this is a very clear vision. Now let's go to quantifying the vision. Again, I said I'm going to split the vision into pieces so we can see why this vision is good and why that vision or another vision is not good, it's not too good. Now, if the vision statements are to guide strategy development, again, remember that we're going to make decisions. We want to develop a strategy for the organization. We have to make long-term decisions for the organization. So if the vision statement is to guide strategy development, they must be not only aspirational and inspirational, they must also be measurable. It's something that is measurable in 3 years, in 5 years, in a decade. We want to be this, we want to go this place. Now, that's one thing you have to note, and I'd like you to put it down maybe in a different color. The next, many organizations' visions are too vague. Too vague, such as, let me give you an example of a vision that's not too good. is vague. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you any measurable quantity. It's just vague. For example, to be our customer's preferred provider. This is too vague, you know. It doesn't. So why describing a laudable, objective? It provides no guidance for developing strategy. Now we want to be our customer's preferred provider. When? Provider of what in the first place? You get it? Provider of what? And when do you want to be the best or preferred? It doesn't say anything. So this is a vague vision for a company or for an organization. So we have to try to be able to avoid, writing up this kind of vision. Now, a quantified vision statement provides a clear focus for the strategy by including a measurable outcome and a targeted value. Again, that's very important. Now, let's look at example of a good vision statement. I think this should be able to guide us to come up with better vision statement. Now, to be a top quartile specialist within 5 years. You see, this is Cigna, property and casualty. This is their vision statement they wrote in 1999. Maybe they've changed it by now. So again, let's break this vision into pieces and see why it is a very excellent, very good vision statement. One, this vision contains the 3 essential components of a good vision statement. Now, please take these 3 components down. The first component is that a quantified success indicator. We can measure it. And what is it? They say they want to be top quartile. That is something we can measure. In profitability, there are quartile, right? We have different quartile. They want to have top quartile in profitability. The next is a definition of niche. You know what is a niche, right? Exactly what you do, what kind of business you do. A specialist. They want to be a specialist in their niche. A specialist, not general purpose. They don't want to do everything. They want to be a specialist in a particular something. And a timeline for execution. They said 5 years. So after 5 years, if they are not a top quartile specialist, then they know that they have failed. Let me take another example. I think I got a second example. Before then, so the vision statement thus provides a clear set of directions and expectations within which the entire strategy can be framed. So if you're the manager of this company, you know that, okay, in 5 years, we want to achieve this. So you can come up with your strategy, you can make decisions, you can, that will be able to deliver this result. Okay. Next, vision statement for non-profit and governmental organization. Now, the question I want to ask is it the same, the vision statement for non-profit and organization, governmental organization, is it the same as the vision statement for a profit-making organization? So why do you think they're not the same? Okay, I agree, they're not the same. So why do you think they're not the same? Not profitable because government organization vision is not to make profit, okay, due to their policies. Non-profit are more into service. They're more service oriented because they don't look into profit, okay. Their aim is different. Social service. Okay, well, you're right. You're right. They are not controlled by profit. So vision statements for non-profit and governmental organizations are more complex because the organization's mission replaces financial performance as the success measure. They cannot measure their success as, they cannot use finance to measure their success in most cases. If it's, for example, the education system, the government will not measure its success in education for the country as a result, or use finance to measure whether education has been successful or not. So again, that's not good. Within the health sector, the government is not going to say, okay, we are successful in providing good quality health to our citizens because we've been able to make more money. No, they'll be able to say more people are healthy. You know, that's how they measure it. So they don't use finance as a measuring parameter to determine success. So again, it's a little bit more complex. So that is why I decided that we should also take a look at it. Okay. In 1961, this is very sweet. I really love this. The U.S. President John F. Kennedy offered one of the most famous and effective public sector vision statement. What did he say? This statement was for the U.S. space program. Now, just look at his vision statement. He says, to land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth before the end of the decade. You get it? All three parameters are there. First, in addition to the vision's inspirational power, it describes a clear measure of success. And what is the measure of success? Land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. If you land a man on the moon and you don't return him, is the vision a success? It's not a success, because he clearly says it, that they have to land a man on the moon and return him to Earth, and a specific time frame. There is a specific time frame which says by the end of the decade. So if by the end of the decade they have not landed a man on the moon and returned him safely to Earth, then they can say they have failed. So you look, this is an example of an excellent public sector vision statement. Excellent. I'm going to give you another example of a public service industry. I think the one I used was the University of Leeds. Another excellent example of a well-crafted vision statement is that of Leeds University, UK. They said, by 2015, our distinctive research, scholarship, and education will have secured us a place among the top 50 universities in the world. Again, look at this vision statement. Is so beautiful. Everything is there, all three parameters. This contains the three required quantifying components. And what are they? The first says the quantified success indicator. What does it say? Be ranked among the top 50 universities in the world. Again, this is the success indicator. If they are not ranked among the first or the top 50 universities, then they have failed. The next parameter is define or definition of niche. What is it exactly they want to do? They want to integrate world-class research, scholarship, and education. This is a particular niche. They want to integrate world-class research, scholarship, and education. And the last one is the time. Timeline is set by 2015. So I hope that by next year, Leeds University should be among the top 50 in the world. You can check it out by next year yourself. if they are among the top 50 universities in the world. Okay. Well, my job is just to give you something good, excellent, no matter where it comes from. I'm a teacher. Okay. By incorporating these three components, a vision statement increases the clarity. It increases the clarity of the message. It adds a discrete definition of success that can be cascaded to lower organizational levels and establish a time frame in which the success will occur. Now, I want us to do a little exercise. I would like you to write a mission statement. We're going to look at an example of a mission statement. We're going to look at value, and we're going to look at vision. So do you want us to start with vision or mission or values? Which should we start with? Mission. Okay. Let's start with mission. Everyone should write a mission. Suppose you have a new company, you start a new organization. What will be your mission statement? Just write your mission statement. Let's see. We're going to take a look at everybody's mission statement. Again, it's important that you make your mistake here in the session. We can talk about it, we can correct it, we can look at what is wrong, than for you to go make the same mistake out there. That would not be too good. So let's look at mission statement. I'm waiting. I'm going to copy your mission statements and put them on the board. Good. So when you paste your mission statement, I'm going to put it on the board. Okay, Ellen says to provide, let me copy this one. Okay. That is one. I'm not going to put the names, don't worry. I'll just put the statements on the screen, then we're going to look at them. So at the end of the day, we don't even know who wrote what. The most important thing is that we have some mission statements on the board. Okay. Anyone coming again? You're a manager now, so you start writing like a manager. Suppose you start working for a company, and then the company has a problem, and then you have to go and try to check, redo a lot of things. You can start with the very fundamental, the very essential, which is the strategy. The strategy statement. You have to look at the mission, look at the values, look at the vision, and all these things. So let's try to learn how to do it here. Okay, can we look at these ones on the board? Okay, I get to be one of the best service providers in Oman. Okay, let's look at this. If anyone comes, I'm going to add it. Now, the first one says, is it clear enough? Should I increase the size? Okay, the first one says to, let me boldface. Okay, here you go. Now, the first one says to provide the best and reliable childcare where safety and security is the foundation. Do you think this mission is clear? So what do you think is wrong with this mission statement? Okay, now this is where the confusion. I'm very happy that you're talking about this. Now we're looking at mission, not vision, and not values. We just want mission. What do you provide to the people? Now, to provide the best and reliable child care where safety and security is the foundation. So we're already talking, this is a mission statement that has value attached to it. Now we're providing the best child care services. You're supposed to add child care services. That is the mission. Your mission is to provide the best and reliable child care services. Now when you add safety and security, these are your values, because safety to you is very important and security is also very important. So you see now that your mission statement has value attached to it. But that's good. But I want you to split it into two. Of course, that's okay. Let's look at the second one. Target to finish to work. Again, this mission is not very clear. It's not very clear. So the person who wrote this can do a little bit of changes to it. Again, mission is what you do, what you're offering to your clients. Again, you get it. What you're offering, what kind of service? Is it a service, or what is it you're doing? What are you offering to your customers or your clients? That should be in your mission. This other one says that be the first company to provide free 5G internet in India for free. Again, this is not really a clear mission. You're talking about, of course, your mission is to provide free 5G internet service. That's the mission, providing internet service to the clients. That's the mission. Our mission is to provide this to the client. Now, maybe your vision could be to be, well, to make it free. I don't know, but again, it's a little bit confusing. Your mission could be the first company to provide 3G internet to India for free. That's, I can say it's acceptable, but it's a little bit confusing. So I will check this one has some point. Maybe this one I'm going to give it, let's say, 3 on 5. I'm going to give this one 3 on 5 as well. And then giving education. This one is also, maybe I can give it a 2.5 on 5. Again, it's not very clear. Provide educational services. Your mission is to provide educational services. Then I would have given it more points. This one, to achieve maximum customer satisfaction by providing best quality products and services. To achieve maximum customer satisfaction by providing best quality products and services. Okay, this can be good. To be one of the best service provider in Oman. Okay, service provider, there are many service providers. What kind of service are you talking about? Is it education service? Is it transport service? What is it? You get it? So if you add that to it, for Apple product, okay, that's fine. Okay, I think George was correcting this to be a company that best understands and satisfy the product. Oh, lots of text are coming in. I think many people have sent in something, right? Yeah, this very interesting. Because when we try to do what we're doing today, I think it's very good because we can be more practical. If you go to an organization and then you have to rewrite their mission and whatever, it's going to be very easy for you to do. Okay, we're going to look back. Again, we're going to review the mission, the example of good missions, and then you can try to readjust it. Now let's look at vision. Let's try some vision statements. Can you post some vision statements? Let's see. I'm waiting. Post some vision statements for your company. Maybe where you work, or your own personal company, or your dream company you want to start up or something. What is your vision? Let's see. Okay, I got one here. Okay, that's one. I have another one. Okay. I have another one here. Oh, I have a big one. Big pack. And I have another one from Fahad. Oh, I was copying Fahad and then it jumped to who. Yeah. Oh, Fahad, you want to change it? You want me to? Okay, this is a wonderful exercise. I think we don't have enough time. But I think we're going to look at, okay, Fahad, I'm going to take this one away. You said you're going to change it. Okay, fine. Well, lots of them are coming in and just one. Okay, fine, guys. This is really wonderful. I love it. And I think we should take a look at these things in the next class. Please try to write a mission statement, a vision statement, and values for a company. So in the next session, we're going to take a look at everybody's work, try to do some analysis, see whether it is good, how we can make it better. So we have, already some experience to be able to write it. We don't have time. My clock is already red. So I hope the class was interesting, and I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to meet again next, so thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening.